Saturn is the rocks being dislodged in your psyche, and those rocks will sit heavy on you for as long as it takes you to answer one question. Which area of your life are you supposed to build with those rocks? Because those stones are not a punishment, they are a scaffolding for your dreams. And most people will never find that out, they just carry the weight of those rocks. Stay with me because today I want to give you 3 lessons about Saturn that I wish I had mastered just a little bit earlier. And if you are in a Saturn return now or a heavy Saturn transit, or just know that there is an area of your life that keeps teaching you the same lesson over and over, this one is for you. So I read birth charts and human design together, and I can tell you out of all of the planets, Saturn is the one my clients complain about the most. And it is also the one that changes their life the most once they stop fighting it. I call it training your Saturn muscle because that's what it is, a muscle. Nobody is born with good at Saturn. You train it. And the faster you train it, the more comfortable you become living in the material world, in your money, in your body, in your time. So, 3 lessons. Number 1, the rocks are yours to build with. Whenever Saturn sits in your chart, there is a pile of rocks. That is the area of life that feels heavy, slow, where things take longer than they should, where the same lesson keeps coming back, and you are like, I already learned this. Why is it here? Why is it here again? Well, because Saturn does not want you to just survive the lesson. Saturn wants you to learn it, try not to repeat it, and improve on it. That is the whole job description. For example, myself, I have Saturn touching my 7th house, the house of relationship. And for years, my relationship felt like walking in concrete boots. Same pattern every time. I would recognize it, I would name it, and I would still be like, here we go again. And the thing that changed wasn't the pattern going away. The thing that changed was me. I stopped asking, why is this happening to me? And I started asking, okay, what am I supposed to build here? The rocks stop being heavy the moment you start building with them. And that is the shift. The weight and the building material are the same stones. Saturn doesn't give you a different pile, it gives you a decision. And your chart will show you where. Saturn in the 2nd house, for example, the rocks are around money and self-worth and boundaries. Saturn on your midheaven or 10th house, it is your career, your public work. Saturn touching your moon, it is your emotional world, your sense of safety. The area is different for everyone, the mechanics of it the same. Actually, let's do this right now. Pause the video for a second and just ask yourself, without a chart, without anything, which area of my life keeps handing me the same heavy lesson? Don't overthink it. The first answer is usually the right one. That is your rocks. That is where Saturn lives for you. So that was the lesson number 1. You have the rocks. Now, how do you actually build? That's lesson 2. Time is a container. The old name for Saturn is Cronus, the master of time. And I don't think we take this seriously enough, because here is something I wish someone told me in my 20s. As long as you have an unlimited amount of time, you will have an unlimited amount of things to do. That's just how it works. The task expands to fill whatever time you give it. Give yourself forever, and forever is exactly how long it takes. But the moment you give yourself a container, deadline, a limit, a constriction, something almost magical happens. The energy condenses. Suddenly, you will have an edge to push against. Suddenly, things get finished. Limitation is not enemy of your energy. It is the shape of it. This is why Saturn feels so uncomfortable, by the way. Saturn is the energy of constriction. It comes in, it squeezes. And we hate it because we think freedom means no limits. But watch what actually happens in your life when there are no limits. Nothing gets done. The genius idea stays an idea. The book stays a someday book. So the training here is small, almost embarrassingly small. It is not one heroic act of discipline. It's mundane, day-to-day things done again and again. A schedule, a deadline you actually keep, a practice you show up for, and I'll give you the one phrase that carries the whole lesson. On the day you don't want to do it, that is actually the day of Saturn. That is the rep that counts. You put in the reps, and afterwards, you get to say, I did it. And that feeling, that quiet, I did it, that is the Saturn paying you back. It always pays you back later, but in full. One more small practice: when your mind starts spiraling into old story, the self-criticism, the I am behind, I've wasted years, catch that thought and say to it, there is no time for this. What am I moving towards? That is it. That is a Saturn phrase. Use that. Okay. Rocks, container, now the last one. And this is the one that might actually rub some of you the wrong way. Lesson number 3, the material world is the assignment. Somewhere along the way, a lot of us in the spiritual world picked up the idea that material world is lesser, that the real work is ascension, raising your vibration, basically vibrating yourself out of your body. Well, hello, you are in a body. You are incarnated. That is the whole point. And when I look at a chart, I don't see a soul trying to escape. I see a soul that went through a lot of trouble to get here into matter, into time, into a Tuesday afternoon with bills on the table. We are here to experience embodiment, not to be graded on how quickly we can leave. Your spiritual work is not above the material world. It runs through it. And Saturn is exactly how spirit does material in your body. Saturn works through planning, boundaries, definitions, making the plan, and then this is part that so many people skip, unfortunately, following through on your plan, including myself. Here's something that I want you to also remember. In old scriptures, Saturn was the ruler of astrology itself, the whole art, because astrology is really the study of time and cycles. And Saturn is the master of time. Modern ruler of astrology is Uranus, the higher mind, flashes of genius, the downloads. And that's beautiful. But I see this in charts every single week. If you don't know how to do Saturn well, Uranus, your higher mind, is just disruption, chaos. Brilliant, genius, but chaos. The downloads arrive and there is nothing to land in. The genius idea needs a container, or it just passes through you and finds somebody else who will build it. So this is the payoff of the whole video. When you train your Saturn muscle, when you learn to work with the rocks that you've been given, hold the container, honor the material. You become something specific. You become a master of time, space, and material reality. That is what Saturn is actually offering, not restriction, mastery. I just wish somebody had put it to me that plainly 20 years ago. So, 3 lessons. Your Saturn rocks are building material, not punishment. Time only works for you when you give it a container. And the material world is not the obstacle to your path, it is the path. Now, if you want to find your rocks precisely, look at your own chart. The link below will let you create your chart for free. Find Saturn, look at the house it sits in, the sign it wears. That house is the construction site. And tell me in the comments, where is your Saturn? Or if you don't know it yet, just tell me which area of life has been the heavy one. I read everything, and honestly, the comments on the video like this become their own little classroom. Remember, your energy has a blueprint. Go build something with those rocks. I'll see you in the next video.